Who in the world is Bobby Fischer, is what you might be asking yourself if you're my age, and I assume that you are, unless of course you watched that movie called Searching for Bobby Fischer, which then kind of explained who he is. And if you didn't see that movie, then you might be doing exactly what the title of that movie says in Google, or you can watch this episode where I'm gonna answer that question that you asked just a second ago right now. Bobby Fischer is one of, and considered by many to be, the best chess player, say that 10 times fast, best chess player, best chess player, best chess player to ever live of all time. He began winning tournaments at age 13, and by the age of 28, he held the record as the world champion chess player. The United States was proud of him. The world was in awe of him. It seemed like everything was before him. And then things started to get a little wacky. And I'm gonna tell you about it right here on 5 facts that you might not know about Bobby Fischer. Spoiler alert, because I don't know what's gonna actually be in the movie Pawn Sacrifice because I haven't seen it yet and nobody sent me a script, then this episode of Movie Facts might contain some spoilers for that movie, so if you don't wanna know, go ahead and just mute this and walk out of the room and just let the video play so I still get those AdSense bucks. Number 1. Bobby Fischer's love for chess started at a young age, when Bobby's mother bought him and his sister Joan a chess set so they could play chess together. But pretty soon, Joan got kind of tired of the game because Bobby kept winning. Because of this, Bobby just started playing against himself. And guess what? He always won. His mother got so worried about him playing chess all the time that she took him to a psychologist. However, the psychologist said he's fine, there are worse things he could be addicted to. At age 16, Bobby dropped out of school because he felt like it was a waste of time, because that was time he could be playing chess. That's taking chess club to a whole new level. Incidentally, that school that he dropped out of was the same school that Barbara Streisand and Neil Diamond went to. Must have been something in the water. Number 2. In 1970, Bobby Fischer won the world championship. He was the best chess player in the world, but by 1972, that title had been beaten. So Iceland was holding a championship for him to go and reclaim that title. Of course, holding the world record as the best chess player in the whole wide world is pretty nice, but also it's kind of nice that they had a $127,000 reward for the winner. But apparently, that wasn't high enough. While everyone was expecting that Bobby would show up, he didn't. Last minute, he said, hey, this isn't enough and I would like to negotiate a higher number and also like these other things that I would like. And he didn't sign any sort of contract so he could demand whatever amount he wanted. See, this is why I always get people to sign contracts. Like every single person that I meet. The moment I meet them, I'm like, boom, sign this. Thanks. Now we can be friends. Unfortunately for Bobby, Iceland wasn't interested in increasing the number. Since everybody thought that Bobby Fischer was gonna show up for this tournament, there were thousands of spectators ready to watch. Iceland ambassador from the US, the president of Iceland, all there for the opening ceremony of this tournament, and there was no Bobby Fischer. Finally, an independent guy from Britain went ahead and said, I will personally give money to raise the prize money to get Bobby Fischer here. Bobby was like, yeah, sure, all right, that works, and flew to Iceland in a plane, I assume. So him holding out worked. I mean, I guess it's like that one guy once said,
if you're good at something, never do it for free.
Number 3, the money wasn't the only demand that Bobby Fischer had at the 1972 World Chess Championship. After losing the first game, many speculate may have been intentional, he forfeited the second game and then said he wouldn't come back to play unless more demands were met. He said that the press was too close, people were taking pictures, the cameras were too loud, even though all of the cameras had been turned off. Now you would think that the greatest chess player in the whole wide world wouldn't be distracted by the noise of a few cameras. And I think you might be right in thinking that, especially since after the tournament, which Bobby Fischer ended up winning and reclaiming his title, went on the Bob Hope show where the two of them made fun of the whole thing. This leads many people to think that he just wasn't interested in the pressure that people put on him to win these tournaments. That is exactly how I feel whenever I have pressure to put out a Movie Facts episode before a big hit movie comes out. Exactly how I feel. I am basically the Bobby Fischer of YouTube. 20 years later, in 1992, Boris Spassky, the guy who Bobby beat in 1972, wanted a rematch. Bobby was actually interested in having that rematch, but the United States government informed Bobby it was illegal for Bobby Fischer to play that chess game with that guy. Why? Boris, believe it or not, was not from the United States, but rather from the Soviet Union. So playing this game with him would violate George H.W. Bush's executive order 12810. Yes. So Bobby Fischer did what any reasonable person would do. He took the order in front of the press and spat on it and said, here's my reply, and went and played the game anyway, and won. Unfortunately, this made Bobby Fischer a fugitive of the law. Yeah, because that's who we need to be chasing down. Great use of resources, George H.W. Bush. Number 5. Fischer, now a federal fugitive of the United States government, moved around from country to country using his personal passport. But eventually his luck ran out, and in Japan he got picked up for using a revoked passport passport. In order to avoid getting deported back to the United States, boy, that's not something that happens all that often, he wrote a letter to the president of Iceland asking for citizenship of Iceland. I don't know what the letter said. I assume it said, hey, so I'm gonna be deported. Remember when I made chess really popular in your country? And apparently the letter worked. Bobby Fischer was granted Icelandic citizenship, where I assume they then made him the Norse god of chess. If you wanna know what happened to Bobby Fischer after that, then you're just gonna have to go watch Pawn Sacrifice. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you learned a lot about Bobby Fischer. I would tell you what happened after that, but I don't wanna spoil any more than I already have. Hope you guys like this episode. If you want to watch more, then you can just subscribe. Then you'll keep up with the latest movie facts and stuff that I find out and then I tell you about. If you liked this episode and thought it was funny or something, you might enjoy my other channel, Say Goodnight Kevin, which is linked right over there. I'll talk to you later. I'm Kevin, and those are the facts.